Hey guys, this is Survivor Dude. I'm going to be showing you how I built my log cabin. First of all, stripping all of the logs. Just by hand. This took a long time. This is the first picture we got. First push we did, dug the foundations, leveled everything off, gravel underneath to make sure there wasn't any water going to rot the logs. Kind of learning as we went. Here's us three, Lucas, Nikolai, and Boris, from left to right. So the first kind of group effort to get this cabin started. Here's Nikolai hauling some lumber up to get our deck on.
Carpendere.
Nailing on the deck. We eventually took out all the nails and screwed it. A lot better. Obviously satisfied. Give us a good work platform to work on, not falling through the cracks. Really good to have. So here's the notches that we had in the logs.
Wow.
We took how far the log had to drop down and scribed it onto the log as it was sitting on top.
Make sure all the ends are lined up.
And then cut it out with a chainsaw, dropped it down, and we had to do a lot of adjusting.
We can live with that. Yeah,
making it level, making it nice and clean. I'm sorry I don't have any videos on how we cut those out, but just with the chainsaw. Here's the walls going up. A lot of this I had to do by myself, but did get most of my help from Nikolai. Here's the walls finished to the height that we want, and the ends all cut up off nice and neat. Working on getting the loft overhang up, our uprights dug into the ground and tarred on the bottom, all bolted together, to keep everything from moving around and keep it all supported. So those ones coming out to the front are our big, on the top there you can see our 22 footers. It was very hard to find straight ones, and you can see on the left top hand side that top one isn't flush. So it was really good because we got a nice impact driver and bolted all those down to keep them as straight as we could, but again we couldn't quite keep them totally square. The door, cutting that out, I'll go over how I did that. It's the same as the window, but I made sure I bolted to every log because I didn't want to lose any structural integrity because of the door, because you're cutting away so much of the structure. There's just the corner. All the ends cut up nice and square. Inside, nice big, don't mind the phone, 4x6 beams to support the loft, just notched out in the logs. Then the uprights, the big 22 footers, sitting on the rabbet joint there on the end and bolted into place. The beams for the loft, since they were notched out of the logs, we bolted them all together so they wouldn't lose structural integrity. Since we couldn't keep the top logs straight and square, putting on dimensional lumber to give us a square base to build our roof on. That was, obviously we were quite off on the back there, but good to have something square to work off of. Winter and no roof, so we had to wait the winter out. But as soon as winter was over, we were right back up to framing our roof. So a rough idea of getting the pitch of our roof, figuring out what we like, giving us enough headroom. Here I am, followed by Chris, getting our big ridge pole, the straightest 22 footer that we could find. That wasn't too big that we couldn't manage it. Again, hard to find in the forest. Putting in our uprights to support the big ridge pole. Bolting it to the cabin wall. We had cut away probably an inch into the wall and an inch on the log. So we'd have something to bolt to that was flat. Here's just us notching away. And again, the ends are dug into the ground and tarred to keep from rotting. Nice little steel.
Here we go.
hand chainsaw. Some random log chopping. Here's an average day up at the cabin. Nikolai's filming. Stripping the big
And we're
ridge
back.
pole by hand.
Yeah, Chris, work that.
Total pain. Nice little time lapse of us getting that ridge pole up there. Back was a little too high. Got to do adjustments. A lot of this just learning as we were going. A lot of it is not perfect. I'm telling you right now. I know there's going to be some of you saying, you did this wrong, but I just want, you to know that started this not knowing anything. So there it is, up and bolted on. So we have something to get our roof going. A bunch of 2x6s that I salvaged. Had to pull nails from each one. But we don't have money to buy things, so trying to save money where we can. Here, Nick and me are getting this loft floor on. Because it's quite dangerous working up there, just having those holes going right through. We ended up putting pieces going perpendicular to these pieces underneath, and we ended up caulking the whole thing to keep any wind out.
Get these stringers going. We're just marking them. We're not going to put them
Cutting
yet.
the stringers.
We got to finish our front. Those are going to be straight.
We didn't have any screws at the time.
We're going to finish framing that, get these boards up, and work our way out of here.
Keep in mind,
the wall going up here.
No framing experience before this, so learning as we're going.
Oh yeah.
Front wall going up.
That's gonna be nice. Lots of work done. Nice block of screws.
Laying out all of our stringers. Just a rabbet joint on those. So we have something to screw on to on the top beam, I guess. There we are. The front has been framed. Happy campers. There's the loft floor. Nice and level, sort of. There's the front again. Nice little window. Again, you can see the rabbits. There's the window, the view from the loft window. Nice. Going into, you can see a nice view of the area where I live. Support on the ridgepole over the window. There's the back, all framed up. Obviously not perfect, but doing the best that we could, and it works. Not too. I'm pretty proud of that, I guess. There's the little workstation. Cutting some of our pieces. Some little blocks. Those are for in between the stringers and the sheathing on the roof. There's a picture of them in place. That was a pain, getting all those guys up. But it needed to be done. Whew. Seal that all up for sure. Next, time lapse of us putting up some of the sheathing. Obviously quite hot up there a couple of the days, and you can see how we ran out of 2x6s, so we had to buy some to finish the roofing. Sheathing then for the roof was next. Here we are, Chris and I putting up some of the sheathing. A huge help when there's more than one person up there. I couldn't do this by myself. Absolutely not. Nice weather, huh? There's the roof sheathed. Obviously, big problem. We did not stagger the pieces. Um, we thought, that I haven't heard about how to sheathe a roof before, so we actually had to take out the pieces and redo that. Tin for the roof, salvaged from my dad's shop. Awesome to have. All of them cut, pressure washed, and ready to go up on the roof. There I am folding over the top tin cap. Um, we, as you can see, we got all that tar paper on the roof. Goes on after the sheathing, and then the tin. Scary work getting that up.
Let's take a look. Howie? No, don't. Not yet.
And then
That's where all the
here's
tin was, but now it's
roof.
up there. Nice color scheme. Light,
So
dark,
nice
light.
to get that all
What do you say, Foreman?
up and
Pretty good, huh?
keep
Nice
all
job,
the
Nikolai.
rain off the wood.
Son, you're doing a great job. Look at that sunset. You come to the cabin door on the porch.
Sunsets were really
with
nice.
the window looking
We
in
made
with
it.
your friends, eating some nice cabin baked bread with the sunset.
Purposely to look at the sunset. Sorry, it was nice. Yeah, so we just aiming it right at the sunset. That was our biggest priority. Here we go, cutting out the windows. We had to cut all of the logs straight because they're not all even, giving you, you want it to be able to bolt into each log. So there's the front, all kind of leveled off. Then 2x6s in place, just screwed for now. I bolted them from each side. Then big 2x8s going in, hammering them then into place. So that's the finished window. Same thing did with the door. Starting to frame our floor, got our stringers, but we didn't want to do the actual floor yet. We wanted to do the chinking because we didn't want to get all the chinking on the floor. So there's a little corner. Got framed for a little rock platform for the wood stove. Chinking in the corner we started with, just using mortar, the cheapest option, but probably not the best. Very difficult, packing it in just by hand, inch by inch, extremely slow and tedious. Second worst job, apart from peeling the logs. There's the back wall, all finished up, nice and sealed. No, light coming through. Actually looks like a wall now. But then a problem was, oh yeah, there's the floor. Finishing it up nicely. But then a problem was, the chinking, it would dry and it's just mortar, so it would want to wiggle around. So I got a big thick finish that is as hard as possible, and I just slopped it on and really just dried, and it held all that mortar in place, which is really nice. And then it gave it a really nice finish, as you can see. Only half that wall is done, but just really nice. Working on putting in my little custom cabinets that I made. There they are. A nice high countertop for men. This is my man cave, ultimately. So had to make that fit. Just nice, made out of, just a little pine. There's a ladder going up to the loft. Some vents, homemade, that I made just to get some airflow going. There's one of them in place, and then I caulked all of it, every single little crack, so there wouldn't be any bugs and stuff getting in, even though there will be, obviously. Little window frame for the loft that I made. Had to learn how to cut glass. That was not that fun. There's a window. Put a strip around the back, weather stripping, and then the window. Ventilation up there, and a fire hazard. You got to have somewhere to escape. There's a little lock I made for the window out of just nails. I had a different lock that I was going to put on there. It had all the holes drilled, but it didn't work, so a bit of a mess. But then put in my nice simple nail one, and it worked a lot better, which was nice. Clips into place. There's sliding window that I had to figure out how to make. You just slide it with your hand, no handle, but you know it works. Good. Again, ventilation. Stairs to the front. Those are tarred at the bottom. Supports on the uprights to keep the whole thing stable. Again, bolted all the major components together. Whew. Insulating the back wall. We did the same at the front to keep any wind out, and then framing it over with lumber and caulking all of it, the front and the back. Slow process, but that is how you frame and construct a log cabin.
Hey guys, so I wanted to quickly show you how the cabin looks today. There it is. So it's March right now, and all the snow's melting. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of how it is today. All of the pieces that we have going down into the ground, these guys, for the little steps, it doesn't matter. These guys supporting the loft and the uprights inside, those are all tarred at the bottom, so they're not gonna start rotting. I'm gonna put gravel all around here because the dirt just gets water right up against them, but do some nice gravel. All these ones on the bottom as well, we've dug them out. Foundation, you can't see the gravel underneath that one, but all in the back here we got gravel under the big bottom ones supporting the whole thing. Quick overview of how we did it all. We stripped all the logs right there, that log, little notch in the top, lay the log down and strip it just with a draw knife. Those are all the shavings. There's probably a foot of shavings underneath those, so a lot of work. That was the hardest part, stripping all these logs. Then making them fit was a very difficult task as well, because they are not straight at all. They're not all the same. You can see how big and then how small some of the other ones are, but the roof works well. Didn't put a fascia on here, but I don't know, it looks kind of nice. You can see all the stringers. Maybe we'll put a gutter to collect rainwater, but for now it's not that big of a deal. They're still working on a lot of stuff, like make a proper bench for out here. This is nice, but it gets in the way of the window. We'll make a proper one. And this was donated to me by my friends, which is very nice. So, door made out of 2x6s, laminated together, works well. Nice little lock. Everything seals up nicely. So, sealed, weather stripping, works well. Inside of the door, nice pattern. I like that. I kind of wish I did it on the outside as well, but I don't know, I thought I'd shake it up a little bit. And then here is the cabin. Nice little mat. You come in, got your hooks on the side for your coats and jackets. Homemade cabinets that I made. A little wood stove. We're not done that. Got to level it out and get pipe for that. But it's been hard trying to find piping for that because it is very expensive. My little rock pad I did in the corner for this guy to keep it off the wood. Homemade little bench and table. Homemade drapes. A little plaque for who all helped in this cabin. So it was mainly us three, me, Christian, and Nikolai. Nikolai helped the most, and then Christian, and there was also Boris. Boris helped on the first couple days of making the foundation, and the first picture of three of us that I have. Yeah, ladder up to the loft. Loft, there's nothing up there. There's more little drapes and that little window up there. But that's where you go and sleep. Still a lot to do in here. Obviously not done by any means, but just little things to make it nice, niceties. Little things on the wall, antlers. If we can get like some animal skin, hanging up on the wall, just things to make this place really nice and cozy. Okay, I just kind of want to show you guys my cabinetry. So this is cabinets. I built this in school as a bonus project, so it's perfect. Got to use it for the cabin. You know, got to stock these shelves. A little radio in there, but and then this table countertop. This I didn't finish completely in wood, my wood shop as well. I ran out of time, but I finished it, the rest of it, up here at the cabin. The backing here, just 2x4, routed it along the edge, same with the countertop. All just made pieces to try to fit up against the cabin, which was very difficult, but it's all solid. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't really know if it's going to help you guys much because I don't know how many people are going to be making log cabins. But I do know that, you know, if you are, I didn't know where to go at all. But I hope this helps whoever it is a little bit. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you guys next time.
I'm lying in some bark. Doesn't even care. Just still timber sports. Artist giving him a rough time.